can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Hello and welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. I'm delighted to be joined by Niall. We're in final prediction mode, but before we get into it, please do hit that subscribe button on the channel if you're not doing so already. Where have you been? Got all of your boxing needs under one roof. Please do check out the channel, hit that subscribe button, like this video, drop in the comments your thoughts on what we've discussed. And we're of course talking about, well, I suppose it's a unification in the super middleweight division. On the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano trilogy undercard, that huge women's card at MSG on Friday, the 11th of July. Savannah Marshall returns to the boxing ring for the first time in 2 years. She takes on Shadasia Green. As I said, a IBF and a WBO unification here at the super middleweight division. So take it away, Niall. What is your final prediction for Marshall Green?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm gonna go for Savannah Marshall here. I think I'm gonna go with a points win for Savannah Marshall. I'm a big Savannah Marshall fan. I think she's big, rangy, powerful. I like her style. I like how she fights. Yeah, I think she'll get it done on points. One thing that was kind of interesting to me when I was looking at this is that you mentioned there she 2 years out from the ring. It's kind of mad to think it'll be 2 years since she last fought in boxing. She didn't look great the last time out either against Cruz Dezern. I think it was a majority decision win. So yeah, the inactivity has been maybe a bit of an issue. And Shadaisa Green is, a decent fighter herself, and she can punch in her own right. I believe she has 11 knockouts in 15 wins, I believe. But I just think Savannah Marshall maybe has a bit too much for her, a bit too much quality and, a bit too much power. So yeah, I think she get it done. Not having it all her own way, but I think, yeah, points win for Savannah Marshall here for me.
Yeah, I think you've made a few really interesting points there. Now, I think I'm going with Savannah Marshall as well. I'm also going via decision. I think it'll be close, but we'll know the winner. So, I don't think there'll be any complaints. I think Savannah Marshall will get it done. Maybe a 7-3 kind of thing, or a competitive, or a 6-4, but it's, kind of clear who's maybe won the fight. That's how I see the fight playing out. You do mention they've obviously got a interesting, you kind of do look at their two resumes, and there is a few common opponents. That the most obvious being the Franchon Cruz Dezern, as you mentioned, that Marshall's last fight where she did win but didn't look great. Whereas Shadisa Green, she's that one defeat on her record is to Cruz Dezern. Whereas the defeat on Savannah Marshall's record is, of course, to Clarissa Shields. I mean, I was really high on Savannah Marshall. I actually thought she was going to beat Clarissa Shields that night. Got beaten fairly comprehensively, I think. The interesting thing for me is how she looks after 2 years here out of the boxing ring here, because like she's clearly a talented fighter. But I did listen to an interview she did, well, and Peter Fury did one as well, where she's like, because she's been concentrating so much on MMA, haven't been signed to the PFL now, and but continue. I believe she still is. She's contracted to a fight a year, I think, in the PFL, so she'll probably go back to MMA after this. Um, Like it's as much as it's maybe similar on the feet. There's so many different things. Peter Fury mentioned how, when she was coming in close to the opponent, like she was moving her hips back to stop the takedown in MMA. Whereas obviously that's not in boxing, but like her form's all over the show. So that's probably why it's taken as long as it has for her to actually fight again inside in the ropes, because of like maybe making basic errors in the boxing ring that having not really boxed for a while and been doing MMA instead. So that is interesting. Will that be a factor on fight night? Who knows? I'd say you should pick it up fairly comfortably. Like she's not a novice, of course. And I just think she's fundamentally better than Shadisa Green in every department. I think Shadisa Green is a puncher, but I do have Savannah Marshall as a bigger puncher. In saying that, though, I don't see there being a stoppage here. If there is a stoppage, it's in favour of Savannah Marshall for me. But yeah, so I'm going for Savannah Marshall to become unified super middleweight champion, claim that WBO belt, add it to her IBF, and yeah, beat her on points. So yeah, just quickly before we finish, mate, we always have to talk about Clarissa Shields when we're with Savannah Marshall. It's the only defeat on her resume. She's desperate to avenge that. Do you think, well, A, we'll ever see that fight again? Or B, if we do see it, do you think Savannah Marshall can beat Clarissa Shields, or do you almost think Shields is like she is the GOAT and almost unbeatable?
I think to answer the first question, I do think we'll see it again. For the fact that I think Clarissa Shields obviously up a heavyweight now, and it's the only real big fight left for either woman around their weight. The only kind of feasible fight. The women at the lower weights have kind of move up and down a lot and have names there that they can go after. But Marshall up at super middle and Shields up at heavyweight now. I think the options are more scarce. So I do think we'll see that fight. What way it'll be at, it'll be interesting. But in terms of who I think would win, I think Clarissa Shields is close to being unbeatable, to be honest with you. You could almost say Savannah Marshall was her biggest threat when they fought the first time around, in terms of Marshall's size, her fundamentals, her power. And as you say, Shields beat her quite decisively there. Marshall didn't disgrace herself by any means, but there's no shame in it. Clarissa Shields is just outstanding. Phenomenal fighter. And I think if it was to happen again, Shields points, I think, would be the safe bet. But I do think we'll see it again because, as I say, purely for the limited options, money wise, for either woman, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, makes total sense, mate. I think we'll see it again. This time I would be backing Clarissa Shields. I suppose she's had dabbled in MMA as well, I suppose, though, so it would be funny. Maybe they'll have the rematch in the octagon instead. But yeah, mate, I think it's not really add much more to what you said. I think hopefully we do see it, and I would, if there were to happen again in the boxing ring, I'm backing Clarissa Shields this time. Despite backing Marshall the first time, I just think she's just that good. And it's no disgrace on Savannah Marshall. I think Clarissa Shields is close to unbeatable, really, to be honest. But yeah, that's all we've got time for today, guys. As I said at the top of the video, please do hit the subscribe button if you're not doing so already on the channel. ESBR Boxing. Find us on all social media platforms as well. Let us know in the comments your thoughts, how you see this one playing out. And yeah, check out the rest of the content on the channel. We've got daily boxing videos coming thick and fast, so please do check it out. Niall, appreciate your time as always, mate, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers. Take care.